That's a
And
green light. It's Thursday
okay.
morning, and there's nothing to be happy about.
Well, there are things to be happy about, but it's not going to be a Totar Win Thursday, is it?
No, no. But we can laugh about a few things. What do we want to start with? We want to start with the communist takeover of Seattle. Uh,
And they already ran out of food. Oh, see, that's communism. They got what they wanted,
yep.
and they'll miss the point entirely.
No, let's talk about banning all the things. Um, Cancel culture is just going absolutely just bonkers. Um, in fact, I'm gonna make a pitch to you guys today. We Cameron and I just briefly talked about doing a series of videos, and when I say we talked about it, I mean I mentioned it to him, and we haven't actually discussed it yet. But I think I think it's time we're gonna have to do a series of videos and start talking about uh, book banning, just banning things generally. So, God, it's amazing. I mean, we're talking about God everything. It just Paw Patrol is capitalist propaganda. Uh, no more Confederate flags in NASCAR. Um, no more Gone with the Wind is being pulled and removed from everything. Magic the Gathering is banning cards. They, yeah, Magic the Gathering has banned the card Cleanse, which is a white mana card that destroys all black creatures. But
Yeah, yeah. And if we're talking about a fantasy card game that has white magic, black magic, blue magic, red magic, and green magic,
yeah, to be clear, the colors of the magic have nothing to do with race. Um,
yeah, it's not about skin color. And then what else? I, actually, man, I want to touch on the one that I just think is the most entertaining to me personally because the left is beginning to eat itself. And J.K. Rowling, who has been virtue signaling for years, like adding all of these extra leftist themes to her books. And I do feel like there was always some subtext that Dumbledore might have been gay. It certainly explains why he refused to duel Grindelwald for so long, and it was because he was in love with Grindelwald. Like, that all tracks. But she's just been going woker and woker and woker and woker. And then she made the mistake of not following the leftist narrative. And she made a point similar to a point that we've made on this show several times, and what she said was that I don't have the tweet pulled up, so excuse me for paraphrasing. But basically, she's not comfortable with saying that sex is a construct. Because if sex isn't real, then things like same sex attraction are also not real. And oh, no, 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 no. And like, she didn't even go all the way off the plantation. She's still following a 99% leftist message, but because she questioned this one tiny part of it, well, now she's anti-trans. And this is
in,
part of why
in fact, specifically, they've called her a trans exclusionary radical feminist, or TERF. Um,
which is a specific brand of feminism, by the way.
Yeah,
And
normally what you're looking at with the turfs is they're demanding equality of some kind, um, and part of their demand is that boys don't get to pretend to be girls for the sake of competing in girls' sports,
because,
and
yeah,
that makes them transphobes. Because that science is a bitch.
I know, right? Good morning, Rod. He's asking a question that I feel like really makes the point. He says, "Oh, did she think that they would allow her to have and retain some power?" Well, yeah, I think she did, in fact, make that mistake. Don't think for yourself. Don't do it. Don't do it. They'll put you through a struggle session.
Oh
And
God.
look, and I heard somebody make this point yesterday, and I actually agree with it. In fact, I think it's Razor Fist who made the point that cancel culture is the modern day equivalent of a struggle session. And a struggle session was this thing that the commies would do where they basically all gang up on you and either verbally or physically abuse you until you decided to agree with the commies. Like it's just that simple. If you had the wrong think, you had a struggle session incoming, and you would walk out of that struggle session with the right think. You will be made to care.
There are 5 lights.
There are five, four, five, four. What? Yeah, yeah. One of the best episodes of Star Trek ever. And then apparently they had to go and ruin it with Picard, and that's a whole other thing. Good Lord, man. They ruined the Predator. They ruined X-Men. They've ruined Terminator. They've ruined Ghostbusters. Like, they've ruined Star Trek. Can you? And now they're getting rid of Paw Patrol. They're pulling Gone with the Wind. Um, yeah, there's a lot of racist subtext in Gone with the Wind, and you realize it's unflattering on purpose, right?
Yeah. But
There's a reason why. I can't believe I just blanked on the primary character's name. The female. The oh dear.
Scarlet?
Thank you. Wow, that happened. Anyhow, there's a reason why Scarlet gets left at the end because he's sick of her shit. Like it's it's pretty definitive. Like,
You mean, frankly, my dear, I
I
don't give a
don't give a
damn?
damn. Right,
That's,
right.
yeah.
Well, and okay, so what's next? Are they gonna ban Mark Twain books? Because Mark Twain included the N word.
That's already been a thing. Um,
See, but that's ridiculous. He included the N word in his
yep.
books, not because he thought that black people needed to be segregated. He was deliberately trying to make the point about how thinking of black people as the other was dehumanizing. Before we even had the concept of the other in the modern vernacular, Mark Twain was writing semi satire that included it. Like, so what are we going to do? We're going to teach the kids how to be tolerant by being intolerant? But that sounds like some real freedom of slavery type shit right there. What else has been banned or canceled lately? You said Paw Patrol? That one's new on me. Really?
Yeah, because it shows, let's see, Professor on Paw Patrol. Paw Patrol is an insanely popular children's show that follows the adventures of a team of puppy dogs who just happen to talk and operate heavy machinery under the supervision of a teenage boy named Ryder. Canadian toy maker, cartoon toy brand merchandising juggernaut. My kids watch Paw Patrol. Um, Canadian criminology professor says that it may be programming kids as little capitalists. King's University College professor Liam Kennedy recently published a research article in the journal Crime Media Culture titled, "Whenever there's trouble, just yelp for help. Crime, conservation, and corporatization in Paw Patrol."
See, they can't even, because I mean, Chris, I assume you've watched some Paw Patrol with your kids, because I have. Because
Yeah.
just about all little kids love that show, because it is a bunch of cute puppy dogs that dress up like firefighters and construction workers, and they go save the day. Um, and and if you pay really close attention, there's even subtext that Sky and Chase are boyfriend and girlfriend, and they're trying to hide it from everybody.
Yeah, I haven't watched that much Paw Patrol.
Well,
But
it's
like
there.
his complaint is that it might be turning children into little capitalists. Oh,
The
you best
show's
to
already
believe I'm about
woke.
to go buy some Paw Patrol toys for my kids.
I guess what I
Like
was driving.
capitalism is a bad thing. And
And look,
let me just
go ahead.
look. I got one for you, Professor. Capitalism is the only reason you have the capacity to criticize capitalism. There's two things I mean there. One, if we lived in the commie utopia that you're after, you would not be allowed to criticize its propaganda. It would be a struggle session wrong think to oppose the propaganda of the state. However, in a capitalist system, in a free capitalist system, like the one we live in North America, not just the United States, to some extent, Canada has a modicum of freedom. And as long as you're criticizing capitalism and you're not criticizing communism, as long as you're hateful and critical of white people, but you're not critical of black people or interested in statistical realities where crime's concerned, then you're allowed to do that in Canada. Uh, you are not. You are no longer allowed to. The things that we're allowed to criticize in America, like the glorification of recreational felonies committed by young men, uh, the list of things we're allowed to criticize is rapidly shrinking. And then here's the other one. In your communist utopia, there is no academy at which you could be a professor to generate this sort of tripe. Your job only exists in a capitalist society.
Yeah, and what's really funny is having watched several episodes of Paw Patrol, because for a while there, one of my kids, like, man, that was his show. Like, that was his show.
Yeah.
It's already a pretty woke show. Like, they take on environmental messages
Of course.
and touch on themes of tolerance and all of that. So I'd already argue that it's left leaning, but apparently it's not left leaning enough anymore. It goes back to the thing with J.K. Rowling. She just stepped like one little itty bitty bit outside of the groupthink, and now she's a transphobe. Like, what madness is this?
Well, basically, the left has gone so far left that Nazism is now moderation.
I mean, yeah, yeah, that's really hard to argue with, especially because I just want to ask, okay, how many things do you have to cancel to bring George Floyd back to life? Like, you go ahead and tell me what the magic number is now, and I'll actually consider helping you cancel the things. You
Well,
just let me know what that number is.
apparently it's more than 19 things because that's how many people have been murdered in the George Floyd riots.
Hmm. I see.
So
I see.
apparently we need to cancel that. That hasn't been enough, so we're going to have to cancel some more people, some more
Ah,
business owners and police officers.
right. Right. Oh yeah. No. I mean, whatever. As long as we bring George Floyd back to life.
Yeah, because we need more guys like that.
I know. Right. I know. Uh, again, a guy who had so much meth and fentanyl in his system, the 911 caller described him as drunk.
Morning, Tim. What the gender fluid Hades are we going to be offended by today? Brother, you dropped that joke just a little too late this morning because we were already talking about how J.K. Rowling has become a trans exclusionary radical feminist.
Uh, Rod points out Stalin had supporters who died from tiny divergences. Yes. Yes, indeed. Look, you didn't want to find a mathematical error in Stalin's equations. You didn't want to do it.
Nope.
You know, it even. Hello, and here we go. We're going to talk about the coronavirus real quick, or at least I am. But one of,
No.
yeah. But one of the points that we've made in the past is one of the reasons why potentially the coronavirus was able to spread from China is because you didn't want to be the Chinese official that pointed out something had gone wrong. Like the doctor who did mysteriously died a couple of months later. Like that's you cannot step away from the groupthink. Once you're in the groupthink, you can't step away from it, or everything's going to fall apart. You will be persecuted. You are now the enemy. And dear God, if you step away from the groupthink and point out something factual to them, that goes tenfold. So, I mean, bravo, Rod. Stalin had supporters who died from tiny divergences. Yes. The
Wow. your your internet just completely took a shit on you.
that's okay. I'm planning on taking a shower here in a minute anyway.
Yeah, and honestly, I've got about all I need. Uh, yeah, that's about all I've got this morning, guys. It's been.
Oh,
Oh, go ahead.
oh, one more. Rod says you got to be cool, and cool changes real fast.
Yes, it does.
And then just one other one. Blizzard, the gaming company, and I don't know very much context behind this, but apparently one of their games was having an in-game Black Lives Matters protest, and one of their players protested the protest and got a 100-year suspension from Blizzard for harassment. We we are in clown world.
Yep. So let's.
Yeah, short somber show.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it is. And Rod, we'll talk more about the knee in the neck and the non-lethality of that maneuver on Sunday. Y'all check us out. Keep an eyeball out. Sunday at 1 o'clock.
Saturday.
I'm sorry, Saturday at 1 o'clock. We're going to be doing another pop up with our law enforcement consultant, Officer Anderson. So we will see y'all. We'll see y'all tomorrow morning, and we got a little extra show that we're doing on Saturday. We'll be talking about some of the. We'll be talking about the
The, all
the
of it.
demands to
Cancel the
abolish the
cops.
police, all the calls against the cops, and the just ludicrous nature of the whole Floyd claim. Um, And we'll see y'all then. Be safe out there. It's time to go to work.
Well, okay. That was a short, sad show.